What's up, guys? Welcome to Visualization. This is Nestor Adriansen, and today we will be learning about the if and switch functions in Power BI. Hey, if this is the first time that you stop by my channel, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and stay up to date with all the videos in Power BI. Alright guys, no more talking and let's get started. Today we have 5 different points, okay? Of course, we will be learning about the if function. The second point, we will be learning about the switch function. The third point, we will be learning about the difference between these two functions. Point number 4, if you guys are like me, you learn by doing, so we have 2 cases and we will apply everything that we have learned so far in this tutorial, okay? Finally, because this point is really important, we need to validate these numbers. For this step, we are going to use Excel to validate these numbers, okay? Because we need to make sure that what we're doing in Power BI is correct. So now let's go to the first point, the if function. The if function checks if a condition provided as the first argument is met, returns one value if the condition is true, and returns another value if the condition is false. The syntax is very similar to what we have in Excel, guys. Of course, we have the logical function here, if. We have logical test, value if true, and we also have another value if it's false, okay? Parameters, we have logical test. It can be any value or expression that can be evaluated to true or false. Value if true, the value that is returned if the logical test is true. Value if false, the value that is returned if the logical test is false. If omitted, blank is returned. If you guys want to learn more about this function, you can check this website right here. Okay? So now let's go to the next point, the switch function. The switch function evaluates an expression against a list of values and returns one of multiple possible result expressions. For syntax, we have right here the DAX function, which is switch. We have the expression, we have value, and we have result. So if we have more statements, we can have more values and more results. The other main part of this function is the else part right here. So here we have the parameters, okay? The expression, it can be any DAX expression that returns a single scalar value. So when we see right here scalar value, so we are talking about single values, okay? Where the expression is to be evaluated multiple times. For value, it can be a constant value to be matched with the results of expression, result, any scalar expression to be evaluated if the results of expression match the corresponding value. And of course, else right here, it can also be any scalar expression to be evaluated if the result of expression doesn't match any of the value arguments. Remember, guys, scalar expressions have single values, okay? Same here, if you guys want to learn more about this function, you can explore this website right here. Now let's go to the next point. Point number 3, we need to compare these two functions. Of course, we know that these are logical functions, right? All right, so now let's compare these two functions, okay? The first table here, if we have multiple statements, so we can see which one performs better, okay? And of course, according to the factors right here, efficiency, speed, readability, and editing, the switch function performs better. Remember, guys, if you have multiple statements, it's better if you use the switch function, okay? Something else here to be aware of, okay? Testing expression. For the if function, it's based on range of values or conditions. And for the switch function, it's based on single integer, enumerated value, or string object, okay? For types of values, for the if function, It's based on Boolean values, and for the switch function, it's based on fixed data values. So now what are Boolean values? Boolean values are values that can be true or false. There you guys have it. So those are the main points. If you guys want to learn more about these differences, you can also check this website right here. So now let's go to the next slide. Point number 4, cases. This is what you have been waiting for, right? So let's do it, guys. So here we have 2 different cases. The first one, create 2 new columns and name them as additional fees and additional fees 2, respectively, okay? Use the if and switch functions to find the calculated new columns. Perfect. And here we have more information that we will be using. Case number 2, create 2 new columns and name them as regions and regions 2, respectively, okay? Use the if and switch functions to find the calculated new columns, and we have more information about regions here as well. Perfect. Now let's go to Power BI Desktop. So now we are in Power BI Desktop. So before we get started with these calculations, let's learn more about the data real quick, okay? So let's hit data here, claims. This information is based on a fictitious insurance company. And we have right here claim ID, claim date, delivery date, product claim, delivery company, premium paid, claim cost, shipping cost, profit, city, and state. Okay. So remember, so the first task that we want to perform is to create a new column called additional fees. And we also have information about the delivery company. Remember that? So we have the fees that we are paying according to the company they were using to deliver the products. All right, so now let's go back to report and start doing this thing, okay? All right, so let's go to modeling, new column. So let's call this additional fees, right? Additional fees equal, I'll enter, and we're gonna use the if function first, okay? So here we have if. Remember that we are looking into delivery company. So let's type right here, delivery company. If delivery company is equal to DHL, because that's one of the delivery companies that we have. If the delivery company is DHL, how much is the fee? $15, right? So let's type 15 right here, comma. If the delivery company is not DHL, so I'll enter to go to the next line. Right here, let's add another function here, if delivery company again, if this delivery company is UPS, right? Remember the text should be in quotation marks, UPS. If it's UPS, so the fee should be $18, comma, I'll enter, tap, tap, tap. If again, if the delivery company is USPS, remember that, USPS, it should be $12, okay? And we have another option right there. If it's FedEx, it should be 16. Because we don't have more options, so we need to select right here 16. Close parentheses, then I'll enter, close parentheses, I'll enter, close parentheses. There you guys have it. So now let's approve this formula. Seems like it's working. Perfect. Let's double check. Let's make sure that this is correct. Okay. Let's drag this new column right here into this area. Perfect. It seems like it's working, guys. Very good. So now we just use the if function. Let's do the same thing, but in this case, let's use the switch function, okay? So what we're gonna do is right click right here, new column, So now let's call this additional fees number 2 equal, I'll enter, and let's use the switch function here, okay? Switch function. We need an expression here, okay? So it can be any DAX expression. I'll enter, and we're gonna use, for this expression, we're gonna use the true function, comma, I'll enter. All right, so what are the conditions here? Remember, what is the value that we wanna evaluate here, okay? So if the delivery company, right, equals to DHL, remember that? If it's equal to DHL, what's the result? What's the fee? $15. Okay, perfect. Comma, I'll enter. What is the other condition here? If the delivery company is equal to UPS, remember that? Close quotation mark right there, should be $18, comma, I'll enter. If the delivery company is equal to USPS, close quotation mark here, comma, so the result should be $12, right? So else should be, I'll enter, in this case should be FedEx, $16, okay? So now we need to close parentheses, boom. And let's see if it works, my friends. Let's approve this change. Seems like it's working. That's perfect. All right, let's make sure that that's accurate. All right, so here we have the additional fees too. Let's drag this column into this chart real quick. Boom. So it seems like we have the same number right there. Okay, perfect. So now let's go back to the slide real quick. All right, so we just finished the first case. This one right here on the top. So now it's time to work on the second case. Okay, remember that we have this information right here. Please keep that in mind. And we're gonna create two new columns as well, regions and regions 2. And we're gonna use the if function and also the switch function. Okay, let's do that. Let's go back to Power BI. All right, let's do it. So new column right here, and we're gonna call this region, right? Equal, I'll enter, and we're gonna use the if function here. Okay, so logical test. So if the state equals to, in this case, Arizona, remember that text should be in quotation marks, Arizona. What else? So we also have California here. So here we need to use another logical operator, okay, which is the OR operator. So these two vertical lines, okay, because we have another state right there. So the other state should be California, right? Quotation marks, California, those quotation marks. All right, so if that's the case, if that's true, the region should be west, right? Comma, if this is not the case, we have to add another if function here, okay? I'll enter, and now the if function again, state again right here, if this is equal to Georgia, mark, if this is Georgia, they should be southeast, okay? Comma again, if this is not the case, we need to add another if function here. I'll enter, if right here, state here equal to Tennessee, this Tennessee. What happens? What's the region? So we need to add right here mid-south, okay? Remember, this is information that is provided in the slides, okay? So mid-south right here, comma, So we have another condition here. We need to add another if function. I'll enter, see right here, if the state is equal to Texas. So what happens here? What's the region? It should be south, okay? And we have another state there as well, which is South Carolina. But that's the last one. And what's the result? This should be east, okay? All right, now I'll enter, close parenthesis, I'll enter, close parenthesis, I'll enter, close parenthesis, I'll enter, close parenthesis. So now let's approve this formula. Seems like it's working, guys. Perfect. All right, let's see if that's the case. So we're gonna drag region into this area and let's see what's happening. Perfect. We have the regions right there. Seems like it's working. That's great. All right, so now we need to use the switch function, okay? Let's do that. So here we have right click, new column, right? So we need to name this as region number 2. It should be equal. I'll enter. And right here, this should be region 2. And right here, we need to use the switch function. Okay, so the expression, we're going to use true as well. Okay, comma, I'll enter. Okay, what is the first statement here? If the state, right, it's equal to Arizona, or you have the logical operator here, right, or the state right here is also equal to California, right? So what happens if that's true? The region should be called West. Perfect. Comma, I'll enter. What is another value? State. State right here equal to Georgia, right? Quotation marks. Don't forget that. Georgia, right? If this is Georgia, it should be called Southeast. If this is not the case, we have another statement here. State right here equal to Tennessee, right? If that's the case, the region should be called Mid-South, okay? Comma, what's the other condition? If the state is equal to, in this case, Texas, the region should be called South, right? All right, so what's the other condition? So we also have South Carolina, and that's the last one. That's why we need to add right here, comma, I'll enter. So what is the result if it's South Carolina? This should be east. So why do we do that? Because this is the last condition, okay? All right, so now let's close parentheses, I'll enter, boom. And let's see if this is correct. Let's approve this change. Well, it seems like it's working. And let's see. Region 2. Let's drag this into this chart. Boom. Guys, it seems like it's working. Perfect. All right, so now let's modify this chart a little bit because here we have the additional fees, right? So how about if we add right here delivery company? It's right here, delivery company. Boom. So we can even change this chart to table to visualize this information better. All right. Okay, so we can make this a little bit bigger if we want. Let's go to format right here, and then for values, let's select 16. How about that? 16, we can check this information better. All right, and then we can also make the headers a little bit better. Column headers here, 16, the same right there. Okay, so we can visualize this chart better. Okay, and now what else can we do here? Let's select this chart again, and then we can, you don't have to do this, but I want to see comma, display the values in this column with commas as 1,000 separator. So I like that. Perfect. And let's do the same for the other calculated column here. All right. Perfect. So as you guys can see here, right? As you guys can see here, by using the if function, we can get these results. By using the switch function, we can also get the same results. So what's the difference? The difference is that if we have multiple statements, we might want to use the switch function. Okay. All right. So let's check the other one right here, and let's copy this. Let's delete this real quick, and let's copy this chart. Control C, Control V. Put this to the right. Okay. And now, in this case, let's remove this right here. So we want this just for the format. Okay. Okay. So for region, so let's type right here. Let's select, let's hide this real quick. So now let's select here state right there, region by using the if function, and region by using the switch function. As you guys can see here, the results are the same. So what's the difference again? If we have multiple statements, we might want to use the switch function. Okay. All right, guys, it seems like everything is working fine. So now let's validate this information. Okay. And we're going to use the original Excel file. Okay, let's do it. All right, guys. So here we have this Excel file. I'm going to share this file with you guys as well, so you can go through these numbers as well. So remember that we add additional fees here, right? Additional fees. And we also have right here region. Remember that? Okay, so let's use the if function here just to find these fees, okay? So logical test. If the delivery company here is equal to DHL, remember that? DHL. So what's the value? In dollars, okay? If it's false, we have more options here. So if this is equal to UPS, so what's the fee value? $18. Remember that this information is part of the slides as well, okay? So what's the other condition here? If this is equal to USPS, remember quotation marks, USPS, what's the result here? $12. If that's not the case, the last option here is FedEx with $16. Close parentheses. There you go. Okay. Hit enter. Boom. Let's drag this for every single row. Perfect. All right. So now for region, equal to if state is equal to Arizona. Remember here we have two states. We need to add the or right there. Okay. Arizona. What's the other condition? This is equal to California, right? So that's the case. So what's the condition here? If that's true, the region should be west, right? Perfect. So if that's false, we have more options here. See? So if this is equal to Georgia, so what is the region here? Southeast. Okay, perfect. So if it's false, we have more regions here. If this state is equal to Tennessee, if it's true, the region should be mid-south, right? What else? We have another condition here. If the state is equal to Texas, remember that? So the region should be south. Okay. If this is not the case, we have another option there, which is South Carolina. Because that's the last option, we need to add right here the region, which is east. Okay, so now close parenthesis, close parenthesis, close parenthesis, close parenthesis, enter, boom. So let's fill out every single row here. It seems like it's working fine, so let's double check. Let's create a pivot table real quick. Alt and V. It's a shortcut to create a pivot table. Existing worksheet right here. Let's select this cell. Okay, boom. So for fees, delivery company, right? Delivery company here, and then fees. Boom. And we can add right here comma if we want, right? And no decimals. Boom. All right. So now for region. So let's copy this real quick. Right here. And right here, let's move this. So we care about state, right? State right here. And we care right here about region. Let's drag this into rows. And let's do something really cool here. These are tips, guys, that you can have, right? All right, so design right here. Let's create this right here, tabular form of rows and columns, subtotals. Boom. Okay, so we have Arizona West, California West, Georgia Southeast, South Carolina East, Tennessee Mid-South, Texas South. Guys, it seems like it's working. So let's double check this information. Let's go back to Power BI desktop real quick. I'm going to split this window in two. You can press the window key and then right arrow. So you can place this to the right. Okay. And then for this Excel file, the window key, left arrow, boom, right there. Here we have the delivery companies, right? DHL, FedEx, UPS, USPS. Let's make sure that these numbers are correct. It seems like it's correct. We have 13,232, 13,000 here, 232. Perfect, guys. It seems like it's working. How about the regions here? So we have Arizona, West, West, perfect. Georgia, Southeast, Southeast. Tennessee, Mid-South. Texas, South. Guys, what we have done in Power BI is accurate. So that's how it works. Let's go back to our presentation. And of course, we just finished our validation. So those numbers are correct. And finally, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have questions, if you have comments, please leave them in the description below. Thank you guys for your time and see you in my next tutorial.